these devotees in the form of a tree, they're atmas, they're living consciousness, and of course they're in these bodies of trees, but their expression of devotion is not limited to their body. They're able to express unlimited avenues of devotional offerings, even from the vantage point of a body of a tree. So we're not thinking, I'm a tree, I can only offer fruits or flowers or honey from my branches. There's no limit to what I can do. In Nectar Devotion, Prabhupada said there's no limit to the expression of bhakti. Bhakti cannot be impeded cannot be stopped or hindered by any material impediment. But no, bhakti is transcendental. So the body and its conditions, we have to follow some rules and regulations in terms of Archan Marg and Vaidhi Sadhana. But in terms of seva, we can do Manasi seva. Bhakti can go on and on and on. Because bhakti is ultimately an expression of the Atma, not the body. Bhakti is an expression of the Atma, not the mind. Bhakti is transcendental, not material. So the transcendental expression of bhakti is now operating through material body and senses, and it appears to be somewhat limited, what we think we can do or what we can do. But the trees in Vrindavan, they're also devotees, they have a particular external form. So we might say, I'm a human being, how can I produce flowers? How can I produce clothing? How can I produce ornaments? How can I produce foodstuffs? We can do all these things. We can do all these things. As human beings, we can produce ornaments, fragrances, garlands, garments, foodstuffs to offer to Radha and Krishna. There's no limit, because our form enables a more fuller expression of consciousness and conscious will, the human form. But when we come to the transcendence, then any form of devotee, whether he's a tree or human being or peacock or whatever, they can offer any type of service. Anganiyasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. So this is the tattva, that there's no limit to bhakti, there's no limit to the expression of bhakti. So when a devotee starts to give up his false ego and identify as a pure servant of Guru and Gauranga and Krishna, then he assumes the spiritualized quality of the iron rod and fire. He becomes fireized or spiritualized. He starts to assume a type of unlimited ability and a type of a kind of power by which you can do many things. You can do many inconceivable things, all from the human form. He can influence those around him or influence those at a great distance, or he can even change the shape of the world. A devotee of the caliber and transcendental transparency. Prabhupada was transcendentally transparent. So much of the pure chit shakti and spiritual energy was flowing through him that he was able to change the course of the world in a significant way. And it's going on even 40 years after the disappearance of his external form. His bhakti prabhav is shining on and ever new waves of influence and productivity and spiritual benefit for people all around the world, through his taste, through his movies, through his vani. His Guru Vani, his Bhakti Vani, eternal sound vibration, Shabda Brahman. Some people have doorbells, and you ring the doorbell, it says, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Some of our students have these doorbells. And you're talking on the phone, and you hear, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And so you're hearing on the phone, people are hearing in the house, the man at the door is hearing it, and it's Prabhupada chanting Hare Krishna mantra, bhakti, transcendental vibration. So these trees, it's not out of the question for a liberated soul to be able to offer a variety of fantastic services. garlands, fragrances, ornaments, garments, foodstuffs. The divine young couple. Nature of the trees in Vrindavan. That they're doing so many wonderful services. And this is chapter 3, verse 98. Glorifies Tulsi. Tulsi is a little tree in Vrindavan. She's little but big on devotion. She's Amsha of Radharani. Vrindadevi is the Kaya view of Radharani. And Vrindadevi expands as a little bush, little tree. Like a tree, little tree. Baby tree. But she's small in size but big in service. Sri Krishna Piya Divya Ganda Tulasi Bedar Anantaistata Santaner Harichandaner Aganite Kapadrumanan Vane Diyaneka Suparijata Vipaner Mandar Brindarapi Rajishno Harivalabaish Chabahusho Nipai Kadamber Rite. This land of Vrindavan, Sri Krishna Priya Divya Ganda Tulasi, is nicely decorated with unlimited transcendently fragrant Tulsi plants, which are extremely dear to Krishna. This is the translation of Sri Krishna Priya Divya Ganda Tulsi. Sounds a lot better in Sanskrit. Sri Krishna Priya Divya Ganda, Tulsi as Divya Ganda, she's very dear to Krishna. Sri Krishna means that she's very dear to Radha and Krishna. Tulsi is very dear to Radha and Krishna. And she has a transcendental fragrance, Divya Ganda. And moreover, her plants are very dear to Krishna. Innumerable small Tulsi plants, Ananta, as well as many sandalwood trees and desire trees, increase the beauty of Vrindavan. Hari Chandan means sandalwood and desire trees. Aganita Kalpajuman Vane. These kalpavrikshas, they increase the beauty of the forest. This abode of Vrindavan is also decorated with Parijat, Mandara, Nipa and Kadamba trees, which are extremely dear to Sri Hari. These are all, of course, Lila Brikshas. All these trees are Harivalava. They're all Harivalava Brikshas. Harivalava Kalpataru, very special category of tree, Harivalava. They're beloveds of Hari. And they play key roles in his pastimes. These particular trees that are mentioned here are all mentioned also in Rasa Panchadaya. When Shukadeva Goswami, when Krishna left the Rasa dance, and the gopis went searching for him, and of course he left with one special gopi, Radharani. But as they came from tree to tree, then they would say, "Oh Nipa tree, have you seen the son of Nanda pass this way? Oh Mandara tree, oh Parijat, oh Kadamba tree, oh Ashwat, oh Ashoka tree, oh Plaksha tree, and Nyagrodra," and all different types of trees, and they're all being mentioned here. And they're very dear to the Lord because these trees, they have different types of flowers, and they serve Krishna in his different pastimes when he's decorating Radharani, and they also serve Krishna when the gopis are picking flowers to make for him. And he often interacts with these particular trees, Mandara, Nipa, Parijat, and towards Tulsi, goes without saying. These are special trees. Kadamba is number one primary tree of Krishna's favorite. What's Radharani's favorite tree? It's a mall tree. Favorite in some ways, and not favorite in other ways. Kadamba tree is also a favorite to Radharani because she likes to pick flowers from that tree, make a garland. Because it's Krishna's favorite tree, so Radharani's favorite tree. Your favorite is my favorite. Whatever you like, I like. Like someone might say, "What do you want to eat?" "Oh, whatever you want, I'll take." So Radharani she knows that Krishna too much likes Kadamba flowers, so then she also likes. But she doesn't climb the trees, Kadamba trees. Krishna's like a monkey. Krishna, he climbs the trees, because cowherd boys are special, they have specialities. I don't know how many of you ever, because you're all from the city, but if you grow up in the country, climbing trees is one of the main things you do. It's a challenge. Boys like a challenge. Any kind of challenge, boys like to take it up. Challenge, competition. It takes a lot of strength, because some trees, they don't have any branches for about 10 feet, so you have to hoist yourself up there with monkey legs and inch your way up the tree and then get to the branches, then you can fly up to the top. So Krishna, he climbs the Kadamba trees also, and it's a very good place. Kadamba trees are very good for climbing because the branches are even on both sides. They go like this. Some trees are alternating branches. I think Tulsi is also even, but she's a little. I have a branch here and a branch here and a branch there and a branch here. So Radharani, her favorite tree in one sense is Kadamba, but also the Tamal tree plays a key role in her pastimes, because the Tamal tree reminds her of Tamal Krishna. And in moments of separation, she embraces the tree, and sometimes she mistakes the Tamal tree to be Krishna. When a peacock perches in the upper branches of the Tamal tree, and Radharani sees the peacock, she thinks it's the peacock feather on Krishna's head. And by Vibram and whatnot, she maybe sees Krishna in a distance, or sees some gopi with a yellow sari like Tunga Vidya, and then she mistakenly thinks that this dark, curvy, bent tree of Tamal is actually the body of Krishna, and he's wrapped with a yellow dhoti, pitambara dhoti, and peacock feather in his hair. She goes and embraces the tree, and then collapses in ecstasy. And one place in Padyavali, I believe it says that Radharani takes the black juice, or some juice that comes from Tamal tree. She taps the black juice like a maple sap, and she takes that juice and she makes a painting of Krishna on the floor on the Braja Raj, an outline of Krishna, and then she lies on that picture when she's in separation, to have the sensation, Nam Rup Gun Lila, that Krishna's form is a Braja Raj Murti. We have Chitra Murti that can take some canvas and paint the Lord and worship the Lord. Many people do. And the Murti made of, Prabhupada says that Murti can be made of 7 substances. Can be made of metal, stone, jewels, wood, and also clay, and painting also. And of course Manasik Thakur. So Radharani would make a Murti out of Tamal juice, black Tamal juice, Tamal Ksham, painted on the ground, and then cry in separation, lie on that image of Krishna, and it's a Braja Raj Murti, you could say. The Tamal trees, and sometimes the gopis, they play a trick on Radharani, and then she knows that once sometimes she's embraced the Tamal tree, and the gopis would laugh and say, oh, and you're praying Vibram, you've embraced the Tamal tree. Look, see, Shama's coming from a distance. Then sometimes other times she's in Brahm, and then they say, oh, go embrace your Sham, and Sham just stands there. Sham is coming to see Radharani, then he just stands there like this, and freezes like he's the branches like a Tamal tree. Dark and glossy chest like the dark and glossy trunk of the tree, and arms bent this way, that way, and the peacocks and the branches and this and that. So then the gopis say, oh, look, Radharani, this Tamal tree. And she says, no, she said, why don't you, and they joke with her, they say, Radharani, why don't you embrace the Tamal tree? Krishna just stands there. She says, no, I'm not, you embarrassed me last time. I did that before, and you all laughed at me when I embraced the Tamal tree. I'm not going to embrace. I said, no, just go ahead and see. She said, no, I'm not going to make a fool of myself again. And embrace that Tamal tree. So Krishna's standing there, he's getting a little impatient, but somehow he's holding his own. And then Lita kind of pushed her, come on. No, go ahead, just try. See, maybe this one's different. So then she puts her arms around the Tamal tree, and all of a sudden the branches go like this and go around her, and then she gets a warm, loving embrace.